So the first step is to build this set of 6 legs here, like this, and we're going to just draw one leg and then use joint mirroring to create a duplicate, and then we'll use duplicate special to create the rest. And you'll notice here that I've labeled everything, and this is key from the beginning to label all your joints in your rig, otherwise things get very confusing. So let me just hide this for now, and I'll start again from scratch. So we'll go to skeleton, create joints. We have to do this in orthographic view. Hold down X to snap to the grid. And I'm just replicating what I created earlier in terms of the layout. Now, so you can see I've drawn this with the root joint. I'm actually going to redo it again, and I'll add the root joint later on, just to see what I'm trying to achieve here. But press Y to launch that tool again. So now I'll draw it without the root joint, just so we can do this a little bit differently. And now I'm going to mirror this over here. So we can go to skeleton, mirror joints. I'm going to open this up, and I've got mine set to YZ, mirror function, the orientation. And then I'm going to rename something here. So before I do this, I should really name these joints, right? So let's call this hip leg 1. So this will be a little bit tedious, and so I've already got things named this here, so I'll just change this slightly. Hip with 2 P's, just so we don't get that constant warning. This will be knee, 3 E's. Leg 1. This is the ankle, 2 E's. Leg 1. And then finally toe, leg 1. An underscore. Okay. So now when I do this and I mirror across here, we'll search for the number 1 and replace it with the number 2. Just before I do this, I'll go to skeleton, orient joint, just reset the settings, and just orient these just to make sure that each joint is pointing down to its child. And now we will select this one and go to skeleton, mirror joints, right, and then we get this, and now these are all legged. These are all labeled as we would hope. So now I'm going to make a root joint here. Just hold down X and snap it there. I'll call this one root. And I do this just so I'll link these ones to this, so when I duplicate special, they'll rotate around the center here. So to make these a child of root, I'm going to rename this with 2 T's just to separate it from my my sample up here. So to make leg 1 a child of root, I just middle mouse drag the top level node in the hierarchy of leg 1 and drag it onto root, and you can see a connection is made here. Same thing with leg 2. So that's a middle mouse drag. And now I'm going to select this root node and go to edit, duplicate special. In this case, I just want to make 2 copies. I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees around Y. And I think, okay, I haven't tried this. Assign unique name to child node. What will this do? Let's just see. Duplicate special. And now we have what looks like the setup that we want. But now you can see we've got roots for each of these. And so it's renamed them properly for us. So now to make like leg 3 a child of the original root, I can just middle mouse drag it onto root. Same with 4. So I'm just selecting the top level node under the new root and dragging it onto the old root. And then just deleting those roots that were created. And so now I've got a nice clean setup where everything is labeled the way that we want, and hopefully the orientation is correct, although it doesn't matter too much because we're putting in controllers. Yeah, the orientation here, yeah, it looks the same. So I'm just looking at these local rotation axes. So the last thing I'll do here is I'm just going to label these. I'm going to label the toes. So if I go to leg 1 toe and open up the attribute editor, we can go to joint labeling, and we can go to other, and then I can call this leg 1, tell it to draw the label, right? So you can see it says up there. So the side, if I just put center, it will get rid of anything else. And the other thing you can do here to make life a little easier for selecting these joints, although it doesn't matter too much, we can also display the handle. So there's a little handle in the middle here, and we can change where it is. So I just put it -1 in Y. And if I want to grab this joint now, I can just grab it down there. Sometimes it's just easier to do. And now we've got a label here. So I'm going to go through and do all of these, and we'll come back to the next stage of building the neck.